Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. The most important news of the day is related to the firing incidents and the casualties in the Tirah Valley of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. I had shared this story with you in the previous vlog. At that time, this was a very developing story. The news was just coming in, and while we were recording the vlog, we provided you with the basic information. Since then, a significant amount of information has come in, and the story has developed quite a bit. Many different angles have emerged, though some details are still not confirmed. But whatever is confirmed, I will share that with you. There are two versions of the story. One is from the civilian population present in the area, as well as from government officials like Sohail Afridi and other individuals familiar with the region, who are a part of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government. These individuals have lived and worked in the region for a long time and are very well versed in the local situation. According to them, the firing that took place in the area was carried out by state forces, that is, military personnel. On the other hand, the media is reporting that the firing was carried out by the so-called foreign militants, Fitnat-ul-Kharij, meaning that it was the terrorists who were behind the firing. It is still unclear who exactly carried out the firing. However, the video footage that has been released so far shows military forces firing at the civilians. This is the video we are showing you. It is a very disturbing video in which you can see people protesting at a gate, possibly throwing stones. This gate is the brigade headquarters, which can also be considered the head office of the military forces stationed there. From a general point of view, this would be their central location, and it is being pelted with stones and protests. However, there is no evidence of any civilian firing in this video. Only military personnel can be seen firing. The reason for this we have already explained to you. Now I will show you the video, and from that you can see how severe the situation has become on the ground. This video shows a military vehicle, and social media claims that this is the incident that led to all these events. However, this claim might be inaccurate, as I mentioned earlier. This is still a developing story, and no definitive briefing has been provided yet, either by Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or by military officials or the Interior Ministry. No official report or conclusion has been released regarding this situation. So we are left with what is being reported on social media, and we are sharing this with you. As I mentioned, if any of this turns out to be incorrect, we will retract and correct it in the coming days. At this point, everything that we are sharing is based on reports, but we cannot take responsibility for its final accuracy, since no one has officially confirmed the situation yet. Now let me show you the video. It is being said that 2 young girls were martyred, contrary to the earlier report which stated 1 child was martyred in Bag Bazaar. Now the claim is that 2 small girls were martyred. You can see that one of the girls' bodies is placed in front of a military armoured vehicle, and people are standing around it, protesting. This is an extremely tragic and alarming scene. Looking at this video, you will not see any firing or stone throwing in the video. There is a dead body visible and people are protesting. But this is a very powerful image. It makes you realize the gap that has formed between people and how dangerous the situation has become. This video left me shaken. It is a deeply disturbing video. Think of the state of mind of the parents of these children, and at the same time think of the military personnel in the armoured vehicle. They didn't make these decisions. They are simply following orders. But for a moment, consider their point of view. These soldiers might not be trained to handle such complex and difficult situations. They may not be equipped to deal with a situation where a dead body is on their vehicle and people are standing in front of them. These soldiers are trained for war, not for handling this kind of intense situation. This situation calls for a completely different set of skills, a lot of caution, careful thinking, and proper engagement. Now, if the soldiers under pressure were to fire again, what would happen? What I'm trying to say is that the military leadership should reflect on this situation. On one hand, civilians are losing their children. Dead bodies are being placed on military vehicles. Those sitting inside the vehicle are likely not mentally prepared to handle such a situation. If they were to fire in such a situation, things could spiral out of control. In the last vlog, I showed you a video of Iqbal Afridi, an MLA in the area, questioning military officials, asking, "Who gave you the permission to fire on innocent people?" The MLA was directly accusing the military of carrying out the firing. On the other hand, reports are emerging in the media, where some people have told me in Islamabad that the government is willing to pay 1.5 million rupees for each martyr. If this is true, it seems like an admission of responsibility. If the military fired, The government should acknowledge it and take action against those responsible. But when the government says it was foreign militants, the so-called Kharijis, why are they also offering compensation for martyrs? This creates confusion and raises many questions. Some reports claim that 4 people were martyred and 12 injured. Others say 5 were martyred and some say 7. So, as I said earlier, there is no final confirmed number of casualties. Now, I want to mention a video from a few days ago where Ali Amin Gandapur was speaking. He said that there is no such thing as a good Taliban or a bad Taliban. He claimed that the Taliban were removed from the area but were brought back by the military's intervention. He expressed his frustration about the Taliban's activities and said that neither good nor bad Taliban are welcome in the area, and if the military is supporting them, they should wear military uniforms and fight in Kashmir. His statements reflect a growing frustration with the military's handling of the situation in the area. Furthermore, there's talk of forming a large Jirga to address the issue. It has been announced that there will be a march towards Islamabad. If the government does not act wisely, and if the Jirga is engaged without transparency and honesty, things could escalate further. If the members of the Jirga are met with firing or roadblocks, the situation could worsen. This is a wound that is bleeding, and it requires care and attention, not more gunfire. Field Marshal Asim Munir and his associates need to think carefully about how to resolve this issue. But as of now, the policy seems to be about diverting attention and trying to deny that the military was responsible. If the military is responsible, evidence should be presented and action should be taken against those involved. Otherwise, we will be stuck in this endless cycle of misinformation. The next news relates to Mohsin Dawar, who is the same person who, at the behest of General Bajwa, voted for the no-confidence motion against Imran Khan. Recall this, and ever since, he has been crying about his opposition to the establishment. However, he always votes according to the military's instructions, so his true face is well known by now. Despite being a hypocrite, he is a stakeholder in the situation, and his statement is that the Taliban are a controlled project. According to him, the area between Dera Ismail Khan and Bakar is only separated by a bridge, but the situation is such that Dera Ismail Khan has completely fallen under the control of militants, while the people of Bakar may not even realize that terrorism is a real issue. What he is implying is that the military has facilitated the Taliban's presence in Dera Ismail Khan, but the people in Bakar are unaware of this situation. The Taliban are accusing, in subtle words, that the army is responsible for all of this. This is what Mr. Mohsin Dawood says. However, he himself is a military tout, and whenever required, he has voted according to their instructions, wherever necessary. Now, on one hand, this is the situation. On the other hand, let me take you to a situation that is even worse. This is the border of Balochistan. Our pilgrims, whether Shia or Sunni, who travel to Iran and Iraq for pilgrimage, have now been banned from going. Today, Mohsin Naqvi, the Interior Minister, along with the Foreign Ministry, is involved. I believe he also consulted with the Prime Minister, and after extensive consultations and considering the security situation, they decided that the Iran-Pakistan border would be sealed and pilgrims would no longer be allowed to travel to Iran or Iraq. Every year, thousands and millions of people travel for religious reasons. People had already made plans, booked buses and organized entire caravans for the journey. Groups were formed, and now they are uncertain about whether they will get their payments back. Some will get refunds, while others may not. This is causing immense financial loss to people. Additionally, the entire supply chain, including bus operators and hotel owners, is affected, leading to further losses. People are in distress, and religious pilgrims are particularly struggling. But since we have lost control over security, we have made this decision. On one hand, we say that we achieved an unparalleled success in Operation Bunyan ul Marsus. We defeated a major power like India and emerged victorious. We even became field marshals. But on the other hand, our situation is worsening in KP, and I've already shared videos with you that depict the dire situation. Now, on the other border, I bring you to Balochistan, where we have closed the border with Iran because we cannot control the security situation. We can no longer provide security, and the situation is beyond our control. Therefore, we have revoked our citizens' fundamental right to freely travel, which is enshrined in the Constitution. This is not a trivial matter. It is a constitutional right for citizens to travel as they wish, but we have taken that right away. We have effectively annulled an important article of the Constitution due to security reasons. Mohsin Naqvi and the state are admitting that we cannot allow pilgrims to travel because the security situation is out of control. Now, I have laid out the situation on both borders. Let's look at the third front. Our DG ISPR, General Baba Iftikhar, recently visited Government College University in Lahore. He was showered with flowers, and the entire atmosphere in the university was filled with slogans in support of the Pakistani army. The students appreciated the army from the heart, and they even joked that DG ISPR should come every day, as if he were a daily treat like chocolates. In other words, on one hand, we are living in a narrow, insular world, refusing to see the outside world, while on the other hand, our DG ISPR is giving speeches in universities, releasing videos and receiving applause from students. Songs and military anthems were sung in praise of the army and Operation Bunyan-ul-Masu. But this is not just happening in Lahore. In Balochistan, the Corps commander held a special session with students from various universities. He too talked about Operation Bunyan-ul-Masu and the military's successes, much like DG ISPR in Lahore. However, while such speeches are being made in universities, children in the Tira Valley are facing bullets overhead and experiencing martyrdom. These are two completely different situations. Meanwhile, on the Balochistan border, we have closed it as we cannot ensure security. This is our current situation. Are we trapped in this situation, or is this something we have chosen to do? Why don't we learn from it? Perhaps we don't want to learn because there may be a calculation that the minerals in Balochistan can only be extracted when there is chaos. If there is no chaos, the people will demand their right to those resources, saying that those minerals should not go to China, America, or other countries. They belong to us. Therefore, some speculate that the war in Balochistan is deliberate to allow for the extraction of minerals in a manner that favors a few. Let's see how things unfold in the coming days. Moving on, there is a tough competition between France and Pakistan. You might be thinking that France has no significant cricket team to compete in sports, or perhaps it's a hockey or football rivalry. But no, this competition isn't in the realm of sports. France recently announced that it will recognize Palestine as a state. The official announcement is likely to be made at the United Nations in September. This has created a lot of controversy, and the United Kingdom is now under pressure to recognize Palestine as well. The United States has rejected France's move to recognize Palestine as a state. On the other hand, many members of the UK Parliament have written letters to the government urging them to recognize Palestine following France's lead. Now, you might be wondering, where does Pakistan fit into this? Pakistan, on the other hand, is rumoured to be preparing to recognise Israel. So, France is set to recognise Palestine while we are heading toward recognising Israel. Quite a remarkable turn of events. Meanwhile, General Kurela, the exact pronunciation may differ, has been awarded the Nishan-e-Imtiaz by the President of Pakistan. He was called to Pakistan, and this award recognises his services in the region and for peace efforts. However, some critics, including Malaya Lodi and Fatima Bhutto, have condemned this move, arguing that General Kurela is pro-Israel and responsible for certain actions in the region. This has become a season of awards. Anyone who is in our control gets decorated with medals, and if they're not in our control, we simply don't bother. Recently, the awards ceremony took place for General Kurela, despite his controversial background. Additionally, it is known that certain prominent journalists in Islamabad first broke the story about the medals being given, though they did not receive immediate recognition for it. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.